ladies and gentlemen, here we are at the Lynden Freedom Stop the Steal rally on this fine day, Sunday, and we're just waiting to get started. A lot of patriots here with their flags blowing in the stiff northeast breeze, and so we'll be started pretty soon. All right, over and out.
Any buildings or our institutions. We're here because we want transparency, because we want integrity in our system, because we want to maintain trust and faith in this nation. However this thing turns out, we still exist. We still have faith in that flag, and we will still stand for that flag no matter what. It gives us the right to think as we wish without threat of violence, the right to believe, have faith if we wish without the threat of violence, the right to improve our lives without the threat of violence, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. This election was driven by three things. Fear, number one. Fear of COVID, fear of destruction, fear and intimidation over how you believe and what your faith is, whether you trust the president. Hate. Hate for the president. And I can't understand how Americans could go 4 years and hate that man when he was doing so many things for the benefit of the world, regardless of his personality. He was working in the best interest of the simple man, of the working man, of the fundamental principles of this nation. And the last thing of the things that affected this election outcome right now, censorship. Number one in our Bill of Rights is free speech and free press. And what do we have? We have silencing of voices, of tech companies and tyranny shutting down ideas and views that must be discussed in order to get a better outcome, shutting down negative issues with a candidate who probably should have never even been nominated into the position because of the corruption and the issues that are factual, not even questioned at this point, but nobody knows because of censorship. How can we live and allow this nation to continue under fear, hate, censorship? We can't. The reason why we're doing this here, to remind people that we still exist, that we still trust our president and our system, and that we will continue to fight for it and make it better in a positive way. And to remind people that we don't depend on a person. And this is the biggest difference between the left and my view of the right. We don't put a person in charge. It's something above us, higher, that drives us. If you put a person in charge, then you can hate. If you have trust and faith in a higher power, and you worry about that, then you're going to love your neighbor. And that's what this is about. Loving our nation, loving our neighbor, going out, reminding people that we still exist, and that we will wait till the outcome is driven by facts and not the press. Yeah. We are going to wait until we have a definitive answer of whether or not 4 counties, Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, and in Atlanta, in Georgia, Fulton County, Allegheny County, Milwaukee, Philadelphia. Those 4 cities are directing the outcome of this nation's election right now. And they were not transparent. They were not allowing integrity. They were not allowing trust and faith in the system. We need to demand that. And this is what this is about. We can't allow this to continue and still have this great nation. So we're here today to remind people to not be afraid, that people are still flying the flag, that we're not going to burn anything down, but we still believe that this president was our president, and he will be until the day that he leaves office legally. And that this nation will be our nation forever, and our God will be our God always. Let's go out and remind people, once again, let's remind people that we're still here. Be positive, be patriotic, be patient, the same 3 things that we say on each trip, and show the flag, and build confidence that this is not over, and regardless, it is never over. And this is what we must remember. The fight for freedom, the struggle for freedom and our rights is enduring. It never ends. We must continue no matter what the outcome with a positive attitude and with a positive direction in this nation. So we're going to continue to show people that we're what we believe, that this is good. You're going to smile and wave, and hopefully we get a lot more thumbs up than the thumbs down, and people think that they've got their win, and let's ensure that they know that we're still here. Lynden, do you want to talk a little bit about where we're going to go?
So coming out of the parking lot, we're going to turn left, go down to Grover, turn left on 7th Street, get on Front Street to the Guide Meridian.
Hey, I just want to remind people, we gained seats in the House of Representatives. Yeah. It looks like we're going to keep the Senate. We took 3 state houses completely, all Republican, all conservative. There is a lot of positive things that put this nation in a good direction. There is something happening underneath right now that will not stop. Because, again, this is not going to change. We will protect and go forward in this nation and protect those interests. This Constitution would not fail. And I will tell you, my wife brought up a pretty interesting point a little while ago. We don't know what God's plan is. We don't know what's happening beyond. And, you know, whether or not you have faith, I'll tell you something. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, bless her soul, passed. And Amy Coney Barrett put 6 conservatives on the Supreme Court in order to protect our Constitution. And you know what? That's an amazing thing to happen in the timing. So again, we never understand what the big story is right now. So we just follow and keep a positive attitude and keep trust and faith in this nation. Thank you. Let's go out and show the county what we're talking about.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are starting out in the beautiful town of Lynden, Washington. On our Stop the Steal parade. Lots of support from our loyal citizens of Lynden. And I'm riding here with Joseph Murphy right here. Say hello, Joseph.
Hello.
Joseph Murphy. And we are going to have a fantastic time today. You can see the flags. There they go. Wow, we got quite the parade down there. It's looking pretty good. Nice looking flags there. better for a whole lot of reasons, actually. A whole lot of reasons.
Learn a lot more too, actually.
One of the big advantages is you're not crippled by fear of group criticism, rejection, persecution. What we find in the dance club is that kids that come to the dance club who went to institutionalized schools, such as public school, Christian school, they are petrified and terrified they won't dance because they're afraid that if they make a mistake, everybody will laugh at them. Whereas homeschool kids, whenever they did anything, their parents always praised them, and their brothers and sisters. They never got assassinated by any group. Their group supported them instead of assassinated them. And for that reason, they're not afraid to dance. They're fearless. It's also why they're so good in things like live theater and speech and debate, spelling bees, all that. Positive reinforcement. Much more healthy than negative reinforcement. I'll tell you that. Poor Democrats, they must be thinking, those Trump people, don't they know they've been beat?
Yeah, Biden won and he just told us.
Like that flag. It's a good size flag up there. They are by far the most patriotic American citizens, immigrants from former communist countries or present communist countries.
It would be awful. You escape your country, come to a new one, it's supposed to be free, and then you watch the same thing happen where you used to live.
Yeah. That's why they did that 30,000 car rally in Miami and 70,000 car rally throughout the entire state next week. So mainly Cuban Americans and Venezuelan Americans that have experienced life under communism didn't want to see it happen here in the country they escaped to, the country they love. So yeah, that was a fantastic event down there in Olympia.
Is there any trouble with Antifa? BLM?
Antifa did show up. There were 9 of them across the street.
Oh.
And they looked like a bunch of brainwashed college kids. But because we had a few hundred people, and our people were very enthusiastic, they called in reinforcements. So Antifa wound up with about 30 people, I think. And they did try to cause some trouble. They got into a debate with one of our ladies, and they tried to steal her flag, and they punched her, and then they punched another lady, and then one of our guys went in there to defend the ladies, and they hit him, and he was bleeding, but he managed to rescue the ladies, so he was a hero. And the police were not at all happy with Antifa and BLM. They arrested one of them when I saw them. They were taking no nonsense from them at all.
That's good.
Meanwhile, we're chanting, "We love the police, back the blue." It was a great party. It was fantastic. Even though it rained a little bit at the beginning, which was rather rough for me filming with the camera, but we had a wonderful time. The thing that was most prominent about that rally was, we did the normal Pledge of Allegiance and singing the national anthem and so on and so forth, which we always do. But what was really neat were the prayers. There were just not even organizer-led prayers, just regular participants called people over, and the whole group prayed together like 4 different times, at least 4 times that I saw. One of those times was me. They let me pray, which I'm very glad I had that opportunity and privilege. Because that's what's most important right now, is prayer. Prayer to God that He would turn the hearts of the people to Himself and cause them to love, be loyal to Him, to God, and to love and care for each other, and that God would protect and love our President Trump. So that was a fantastic rally. I was very happy I went. I was a little surprised, though, at the meetup place in Burlington Costco that there was only one other vehicle besides myself. And that was from Cedar Woolley. We didn't have anybody from Whatcom County. I was a little disappointed with that. But they're planning on doing it again next week, so I'm anticipating we'll have a lot more people. By that time, I should have the video on. The video is going to be really good. I got the video of our trip down to the ranch. That I finally got that up now. I tried to upload it earlier. The upload failed. I had to re-upload the whole thing. So it takes, it could take easily a day to upload that much video. It's very challenging. First a day or two of editing, sometimes 3 days of editing, and then a day of uploading. That's why it takes so long for these videos to get up on the internet, because it's very labor intensive and a long drawn out process. The thing about editing, you get in trouble either way. I've gotten contact from people very irate that I didn't have their vehicle and they were in the parade and I edited out their vehicle, and they were really upset. And then I've had people really upset because Antifa was yelling some ugly stuff and they didn't want that in the video. So yeah, you get in trouble either way, but you can't please everybody.
No,
it's impossible.
Just do the best you can. Do you think there may be a war?
Joseph, this country has been at war for several decades.
I mean,
I was born into this war. It's called a cultural, political, spiritual war. Primary emphasis on spiritual.
Well, I mean, like, shooting.
I know. You're thinking of shooting war. People shouldn't think that way.
My uncle thinks it's good.
Yeah, people shouldn't think that way. War has a much broader meaning in truth than a shooting war. The real war is spiritual, not physical. And we've been at war my entire lifetime. The war has been fought in the churches, in the schools, in the culture, in government, everywhere.
Seems like we've been losing.
Yep. We have been. Until Reagan and Trump. Rather sad that the turning point wasn't brought about by church leaders. Instead wound up being brought about by a political leader. It's a guy who's not even a politician. But that was the turning point. But God has a proven long-term pattern of doing that. He will take the unexpected person and use them to change things for better. He'll take the person that everybody thinks is unworthy. And Trump is definitely unworthy. In the view of many, nobody expected that he would do all the good things that he did. No one expected that.
My dad voted for it the first time just because he thought he'd be better off than Hillary. Not much better.
Never had any idea how much better.
Yeah.
According to the Heritage Foundation, Trump is considerably more conservative than Ronald Reagan was, as far as policy is concerned, as far as what policies he put forward and got done. More conservative than Ronald Reagan by a considerable percentage. And that from the Heritage Foundation, which was not at all excited about Trump and his candidacy.
They're already going back.
There we are on the other side of the freeway. Cool. I think that's our group, unless it's another
that's
group.
Open truck.
Oh, they're all coming up here. Cool. Oh, I'm kind of disappointed we're not driving through Fairhaven. I'd like to exercise their demons a little bit. Not exorcise, exercise. Well, exorcise would be better, but probably we'll have to settle for exercise. But who knows? Miracles can happen. We'll take it if we can get it.
Yeah, we're just getting right back on.
Well, you know what's really cool about this is that we are happy warriors. We are happy warrior poets. And we're loving this. That's why we're still doing these parades. Must leave the other side scratching their heads like crazy.
Yeah, because all the news and everything's told them that Biden won. Why would we be
Aren't
out
you
here?
guys supposed to be depressed? Aren't you supposed to be cowering in fear? What do you know that we don't know? Have you figured out that it's all a fraud? The election's been stolen? That it can be exposed as having been stolen? That's what they're thinking. What do these guys know that we don't know? Is our liberal media lying to us again, just like those polls? You know, those polls were no accident. They were deliberate. Those weren't honest polls. That was vote suppression efforts. And it was also...
I think we've already lost it, so no point in voting.
Yeah. And here's the bigger thing. It is a proven scientific fact that if people believe that one side is winning, they'll donate to that side. If there are already people that believe in that side, they'll donate more. If there are people that maybe want to curry favor with that side, they'll donate more to the winning side. That's one of the main reasons that the polling is done the way it is. And why the polls, whenever they're wrong, they're always wrong in favor of the Democrat by about 10 points. On average, 10 points.
Yeah, that's huge. Way off.
It's not incompetence or some mistake. It is all by design. It is deliberate. They're not polls at all. They're pure propaganda. But very powerful propaganda. That's why they do it. Also, you would think the pollsters would be punished for being wrong. Like they'd be embarrassed and everything. No. They're rewarded for being wrong. They work for the major media companies. They're rewarded for this behavior. It's exactly what they were hired to do. There's no downside to falsifying their polls. No downside and every upside in the world. They gain greater prominence even when they're wrong. Because their prominence is based on who they skew the polls for and whose favor they skew the polls. That's what their prominence is based on. It's not based on the accuracy of the polls. In fact, if a pollster actually produces an honest poll, he can be blackballed and censored in the industry. So there's no upside to honesty. But when the media mentions these Stop the Steal rallies, all of them, all these media outlets used a photograph that showed some kind of a demonstrator pinned to the ground by a couple of military-looking police officers. And they're implying that, oh, look, there's a Trump supporter who did some criminal thing and the police slammed him to the ground and they're pinning him to the ground. All those bad Trump supporters. Well, what they don't tell you is that that photograph is from Portland, and it's an Antifa creep that the police are arresting. And it has nothing to do with the Republican Stop the Steal rallies.
Yeah, it's all propaganda.
Yeah, they all use the same photograph. It's like the photograph of the kids in cages, which was taken during the Obama administration.
Yep.
They try to blame Trump for that. This is why the American people should never trust anything out of the media, including Fox News, by the way.
Yeah, they're bad.
Other than the conservative commentators, Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson, Laura Ingraham, and Judge Deneen, and Lou Dobbs. There are maybe a couple others I'm forgetting to mention. You can trust them, but you can't trust their regular news reporting at all. Fox News is every bit as bad as CNN and the rest of it. 77% of the employees at Fox News donate to Democrat candidates, not Republican candidates. So, don't think they're a conservative station. They are not. They're just a station that realized there was a huge unmet need, a huge market niche that wasn't being appealed to, and that was conservatives.
So some conservative guys on there.
Exactly. They could sell advertising like crazy because it's the only place conservatives could go for any kind of commentary. But meanwhile, they poison with propaganda news that's entirely no different than CNN and MSNBC and so on and so forth. We really need a new conservative, truly conservative news station. ON, One American News Network, Newsmax, a couple of alternatives, Glenn Beck's Blaze TV to some degree. I always find Sky News out of Australia to be interesting. They're a conservative news outlet in Australia, and they talk a lot about American politics. They're quite amusing. But the best online news source, in my opinion, is the Gateway Pundit. The Gateway Pundit. Jim Hoff runs that. And it's better than Breitbart, because Breitbart's articles are way too long. They're not efficient to read. Whereas Gateway Pundit's articles are very short, to the point, and you could read all the news in just a few minutes. It's very, very good. Gateway Pundit. Have you guys ever gone online and read any articles of Gateway Pundit?
Heard about it.
You should.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, you should. You should definitely. They do, I think, have a fair bit of ads. I use an ad blocker, though. I use uBlock Origin ad blocker, so I never have to wade through any ads. That's what you have to do if you're going to get your news online. You want to block the ads. Otherwise, it's not efficient to read things online. In that way, they could deal with the online censorship and put an end to it. So there's no way they should have that Section 230 immunity from lawsuit. Because they've proven that they are not platforms, they are publishers, and quite frankly, they're political publishers, so they should be regulated and investigated by the Public Disclosure Commission, PDC, and the federal version of the PDC, because they haven't been declaring all these, basically what they are is political ads. They haven't been declaring them, and they need to declare them, and who paid for them. And since they haven't been doing that, they've been breaking the law. They really ought to be fined for $1 gazillion by the U.S. government for having broken the law. Because they're not platforms, they're publishers, they're political publishers, they're political propagandists. Quite frankly. Facebook, Google, search engine, YouTube, Twitter, all of it. Instagram, the whole thing. It's corrupt as all get out. And they've developed their systems of censorship with the Chinese Communist government. They set up these systems for the Chinese Communist government so they could persecute their own people, and now they're using it against Americans. I'm not allowed to talk about politics in my own home.
Why not?
It makes my wife and daughter upset. Well, Tiffany's mainly mad because they were going to take away her roller skating. They were going to shut down the roller rink. They tried to on this COVID thing.
Yep.
And it really, because she was just learning how to roller skate, and it really upset her. So it stresses her out too much. She doesn't even want to think about politics. Poor kid. So yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about politics at home, so you have to listen to me instead. Did your mom and dad ever talk about politics?
Yeah.
I had a feeling they did. So here we are heading down the Guide Meridian, Bellingham, Washington, and then we're going to turn on Horton Road, and then we're going to take Cordata Parkway, running behind the old Costco and all that. But yeah, here's the deal, Joseph. Politics really have to be talked about, because politics has achieved such a massive role in people's lives, a role that it was never meant to occupy. But because totalitarian leftists have taken over so many of our institutions, they basically control our entire lives. They regulate everything. So for that reason, you cannot fail to be involved in politics. You have to be involved in politics. to protect freedom. Otherwise, you will most certainly lose it. They will take it from you. It's like Ronald Reagan said, freedom is never more than one generation away from being destroyed. Every generation has to defend it anew. That's reality in this fallen world. Now, of course, you were too young to remember Ronald Reagan. You weren't even born then. How old are you, Joseph?
Almost 18.
Almost 18?
Will be,
Yeah. Have you ever watched any movies about Reagan or documentaries?
A little bit of documentary, mostly focusing on
Yeah.
the Soviet Union and wall of towers.
There are some good documentaries on Reagan. There's some bad ones too. Those produced by the left are bad, of course. They hated Reagan with a passion. Later they had to acknowledge he was one of the best presidents we ever had, but when he was president, they did everything they could to destroy him. Not as bad as what they're doing to Trump, but they did as much damage to him as they possibly could do. And he was a good man. A very good man. We all loved Reagan. When he died and his hearse went by, people lined that road for miles upon miles upon miles to show respect for him and his funeral. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah, it's true. If Trump died right now and they drove that hearse across the United States, they'd have millions of people along the road. I'd be one of them. I think so would every one of us.
Yeah.
We'd all be saluting as the hearse went past. We'd all be waving our flags. The left can do a lot to destroy us, to hurt us. They will not destroy our love for a good man, for this country. They will not destroy that. For love for what is good and pure and just and right comes from God. God puts it in our hearts. It is not able to be destroyed. That's what the left does not understand. It's a very interesting thing, the differences between the left and us. The left don't understand us. And that makes perfect sense. And I think we understand them fairly well, but I would like to understand them better. I'd really like to ask one of their people, one of their Antifa or BLM people, so what do you love about Joe Biden?
We should have one of those events next time if there's some of them over.
I would really like to interview one of them.
Yeah, just don't wear any Trump stuff or anything so they think you're just a neutral photographer.
Oh, it's okay if they know that I'm not neutral. I just want to know if they'll give me an honest answer to the question. I think the first thing out of their mouth would be that he's not Trump.
Yep.
And they'll all be talking about hating Trump.
Yeah, they can't actually say anything about Biden. It's all about he's not Trump.
I could ask him, well, as a black person, what do you like about the 1994 crime bill that basically incarcerated all kinds of black people simply for marijuana possession? Incarcerated them for a long time. What do you think about Kamala Harris? Because she put an awful lot of them in jail and kept them in jail. Actually extended their sentences, 1,500 of them, because they were paying them only $2 an hour to fight fires in California. They wanted the cheap labor. So she extended their sentences. And she's supposedly, Joe Biden chose her because she's supposedly black. Actually, her parents were from India and I think Jamaica or something.
She's not black.
She's not black. But anyway, she claims to be. She claims that black privilege. But, yeah. What do you like about that 1994 crime bill? What do you like what do you think of Joe Biden praising Robert Byrd, who was a Grand Kleagle in the KKK, a recruiter for the KKK in the South? What do you think of that? Do you like that? Are you impressed with that?
They would just say you made it up.
No, it's true.
I know, but they would just call you a liar.
And he spoke in favor of Robert Byrd at Robert Byrd's funeral. He talked about how Robert Byrd was his mentor and mentor of so many Democrats in the Senate. Okay? So, tell me why you're impressed with Joe Biden and why that fact impresses you so much. you impressed with the KKK also? Would you speak favorably of a recruiter for the KKK? A Grand Kleagle? But yeah, those are the questions I'd love to ask Antifa BLM. Can you name me something Joe Biden has actually done for the black community? Other than the 1994 crime bill that put thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of them in jail. What can you tell me that he's done for the black community? And don't tell me what he promises to do, because he's been in politics for 47 years, and he and Barack Obama had total control of the presidency, the courts, the legislature, both houses, and they could have done anything they wanted for the black community. They could have passed the criminal justice reform bill that Trump passed. They could have let all these black people that were unjustly incarcerated for minor offenses out of jail, like Trump has done. They could have passed the Platinum Plan, which Trump has done. They could have reduced black unemployment, like Trump has done. They could have developed opportunity zones, like Trump has done. They didn't do any of this when they had total control of the federal government. So tell me why they deserve your support, but Trump doesn't deserve your support. Give me a logical answer to the question. And you know what they'd do? They'd start screaming the F word.
Yep.
That's what they do, because that's their answer. That's their argument. The entirety of it. They don't have any rational
They couldn't
position.
give you a logical answer.
We're driving right past Whatcom. Not exactly a hotbed of conservatism.
Switch classes real quick.
Drive around and knock on the horn. That would be fun. Yeah, we still got a lot of support. That's going to continue too. Yeah. Here we are at Bellis Fair Mall, Bellingham. There we be. Oh, was that fun?
Oh yeah!
Did you guys manage to exercise some Democrats? Great. Fantastic. Hey brothers, did you have fun?
Oh man, I liked it more when we were ruffling people's feathers there along the way. I've seen so many fingers, it was comical, funny. Can't hurt my feelings.
You imagine what they must be thinking. Don't those guys know they lost? Why aren't they feeling defeated?
Oh, them two looks sooner than that.
Just you wait, yes. I agree. I agree. Hey y'all, did you have fun?
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah.
It's a beautiful day in America. Amen.
Brown's a good day.
Is that a patriotic kid?
Yes, she is.
Yeah, it looks like a patriotic kid.
2020.
You being shy. Love you, Trump.
Amen. Hey, Patriot.
Howdy, howdy. I love the tie. I love the tie.
Oh, thank
Threw
you.
his jacket off during the rider. Sure.
Got a patriotic kid there.
What do you say? You say? Say it.
Love Trump?
What do you say, Jasmine?
I ain't talking to that guy. Hey, did you have fun yesterday?
That wasn't bad.
Oh, I had a blast.
Drove around a few times. But
Yeah. I got some fantastic interviews with people. I was there the whole time. Yeah, I had a great time. Great fun. Hey, Linda.
Hi.
Did you have fun?
Oh, this is the best. This is the cure for the blues, for sure.
Fraud is not an American value.
Bring it in, everybody. I can't talk that loud. We don't start dancing.
Hey, did y'all have fun? It's pretty hot out here, isn't it? We could do it with a nice stiff, cool breeze, I think. Hey, everybody. Smile and wave. America, brothers and sisters. America.
Good in, everybody.
Yeah. Picked up a few strays along the way, huh?
Yes, we did! In front of us! Yeah! Yeah, we had a guy got on right before he got off at Fairhaven. He got on the next exit.
So what do you think? How did it go?
Hey, Chris. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, buddy.
Ben.
You like the
Better.
Well, I'm having a real good time.
I am.
We had a great rally down in Olympia yesterday.
Good.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Oh, good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Really glad to hear that.
Yeah, 9 Antifa BLM showed up to entertain us.
Oh,
It was great.
they're always entertaining.
Very, very entertaining. Yes. Hey, Larry. Good to see you, man.
Okay, so this week should be pretty suspenseful. And you know, Trump is a chess player, isn't he?
Yep.
And he's always seems to be one step ahead of the cheaters. So I'm trusting God.
Yeah.
I'm trusting my president.
Yep.
I have been, I don't know about the rest of you, but I've been looking at all of the, whether it's rumors or intel on the phone. Have you all been doing that too?
Yeah.
And it's been like, whoo, whoo.
Yeah.
So, but thank you very much. So what we did today is we encouraged others like us to say, hey, we still believe, we hope, we believe in a fair election that we're not getting right now. So it encouraged them, encouraged us. And I don't know about all of you, but I got way more thumbs up than I got.
Amen.
Good job.
Thank you, Linda. That route was fantastic.
It was great. Great route. You should have done that one the first time. Live and learn.
Thanks for all of your effort.
Yeah, we'll try. I mean, I can only share as much as what I know is true. Okay, so we're moving over to WeMe. And they on WeMe? WeMe and Parler?
Parler is the #1 downloaded app right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got traffic jammed yesterday by all the people leaving Twitter and Facebook.
Never heard of you. I think I'm in there
We want to see the collapse of all of them. Yes.
Amen.
Yeah. And MeWe is similar.
MeWe and
MeWe,
Wynkin.
Yeah, so I'm moving over to MeWe and Parler. I'm sick of Facebook, sick of Twitter, censoring everything.
Yeah.
So I am not a motivational speaker.
They're gonna implode themselves.
What?
Linda,
Yes.
can I say a few words?
Yes, please.
Brothers and sisters, do you have any words of encouragement for our embattled president?
Everybody's gonna do it.
Be strong. Keep going.
Don't give up.
We're there. Trust the rule of law. Keep going.
Amen. What about you? Do you have any words of encouragement for our president?
Don't give up. Yeah.
Elvis does.
What about you guys? Any words of encouragement for Trump?
We love you, Trump. Keep it up. Got a word of encouragement. Right behind you, Elvis has got a word of encouragement.
I got something to say. This election is not over, people. It's not long. The Democrats have declared it their victory, and you're going to see a lot of that over the next couple of days. The reason they're doing that is to get a rally going against the United States.
Yep.
So it's going to be harder and harder to change those elections.
Yep.
The media does not make that decision. Don't let the media do that to you. And I don't want any of you to lose faith. You got to have faith, right? Can I hear it?
Amen. Fantastic.
Hey, just out of
Wow.
curiosity, how many of you are first generation Americans? What generation here? Second generation. Third generation Americans? And how about 4 or more? Is that everybody? Okay, I am a first generation American.
Yeah.
My dad was born in 1943 in Copenhagen. What was going on in Copenhagen then? Who can tell me? World War II. they said only so many of each type of business. So my family was forced to immigrate to Canada, and then my mom and dad married, and they moved to the United States, and I was the first American child born on American soil.
Nice.
And I am very angry at generations of Americans that have let this happen in our schools. The Marxism is there. They kicked out God, kicked out the Bible, kicked out prayer. They put socialism in, immorality in. I always say we, even though I'm only first generation, but we have let that happen. And we have to fight for our nation, and I'm not ready to give it up.
Amen.
After one generation.
Amen.
So I hope y'all can join me.
Yeah.
Amen.
So thank you for
7
coming.
mountains of influence. What we got to take back over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you
Got to
for
start
coming,
influencing
everybody.
media and everything. Thank you.
Is that there is absolutely
Love Trump's hate.
What about you guys? Do you have any words of encouragement for our president?
We love you.
President Trump, we are with you 100%. We know you won the election. We know you got this. We know you knew it was coming and you had a plan and you will defeat this enemy of the American people.
What did he say?
Amen.
Yeah! You got the heart of the American people. We love you. Don't give up. We're behind you. We're fighting. I'm calling every senator, every congress member. Some of the mailboxes are full, like Nunes, Cruz. We're making prayers. We are speaking out, holding people accountable. Grassroots right here, you guys. We love you.
Amen.
Pray for you every morning.
That's right.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. And I know our dear president appreciates this, and it means a lot to him too.
Get this out there.
Yes.
I want to say that we need to stick together. We need the communication to be strict, and we need to make sure that we communicate with each other and make sure that we fight this thing together, keeping our thoughts together and doing it legally. Thank you.
Amen. Amen.
Got to show that God is in control of all of this. God is in control. Let's not show hatred. Let's show let's just show love.
Amen.
No hatred. Yeah. No trouble. Who are you with?
I'm Wylin Tjoelker,
Oh, okay.
and I have a YouTube channel under my
Okay.
name, Wylin Tjoelker.
All right, I'll check it out. Thank you.
Thank you.
My grandfather.
Thanks again, my friend, for all you do. Love you.
He's actually in the Michigan Hall of Fame.
Wow, that's great.
Hey, thanks.
I never know when I can talk in front of you and when I can't.
Thank you.
Hey, brother. Any words of encouragement for our president?
I'm not very political. First time ever voted this year, and I just don't want to see it go downhill, like it probably will with Inslee and Biden. So
Okay.
I'm just praying and hoping that we can get back on track and get back to it. So
Fantastic. Thanks so much.
thank you.
It's like they popped in and I was like,
Well, is it time to head on back to Lynden?
Thank you for recording it all.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
My great pleasure. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's our magnificent Mount Baker way off there in the distance. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I climbed that thing a few times.
Yeah.
Quite an adventure. Anyway, over now.